Remember the days when summer meant no school and nothing to do? Oh, how I miss those times. I used to live my best life in the summer, all the way up until graduating college. Then real life happened, and summer became no different than any other season. But you know what? That's not 100% true. Summer still brings good vibes, and summer is the perfect time to reevaluate your spending habits because the season usually starts right around the middle of the year. Whether you set annual goals or not, pulse checking on your spending and money habits midway through the year will leave you with enough time to implement any changes that may be needed in your finances. In this episode, I'm sharing why summer is the perfect time to reevaluate your spending habits and how you can actually go about doing it. Hey there, I'm Rhea Reeves, and over a decade ago, I turned my life around through budgeting. I went from being an overspender deep in credit card debt to being the founder and full-time money coach of City Girl Savings. Now, I help women work towards their dream life and tap into their financial power one budget at a time. I fully believe you can live a life you love with a budget, and I'm living proof. The weekly City Girl Savings podcast focuses on the intersection of money and the City Girl lifestyle. Join me every week along with some special guests as I share my experiences, advice, and guidance on navigating life and money as an experience-loving millennial. So before I talk about how to reflect on your spending habits and reevaluate and change them, I do want to share that every year the City Girl Savings community participates in a free 4-week savings challenge. It's our summer savings challenge, and registration is open. I am going to link to the sign up page in the show notes. If you want to join us on this free 4-week challenge, please make sure you sign up because we start soon. Okay, enough about that. Let's get into why summer is actually the perfect time to reflect on your spending. So, first and foremost, it's the midway point of the year. And I know I touched on this in the introduction, but let's spend a little bit more time here. Just like corporations and companies do mid-year performance reviews for their employees, you can do a mid-year performance review for your money. Enough time has passed in the year for you to see patterns, but there's still time to course correct. So if you spot those patterns that are actually hurting your progress, we still have time to make some moves and hopefully see the results we want. So almost think of summer and why it's a perfect time to reevaluate your spending as like the halfway point in a game, right? It's halftime. You have played the first 2 quarters. Now it's time to regroup, assess how you're doing, and create a plan for the remaining 2 quarters. So 2 quarters and 2 quarters makes perfect sense, right? So if you set goals, or even if you didn't specifically set goals, but maybe you set financial intentions back in January, now is a great time to see how it's going. So maybe in January, you said something along the lines of, this is a year where I'm finally going to build my emergency savings. Or maybe the goal was to just spend less on non-essentials. Now is the time to ask yourself how those goals or how those intentions are going. Are you making progress towards them? So, some questions to ask yourself to actually reflect and evaluate include, are my spending habits helping or hurting my financial goals? So that's one good question. Have the things I've been doing with my money, have my spending decisions been helping or hurting me? Another question to ask is, have I spent more than I wanted to during the first half of the year? And then finally, what can I keep doing or stop doing to end the year feeling good about my spending habits? Okay, so we don't have to make this mid-year review a whole extensive project, right? I think asking yourself those couple of questions and really taking time to assess the answers will give you the information you need to make some changes and hopefully finish out the second half of the year the way you want to. So just to recap what those questions are, first one is, are my spending habits helping or hurting my financial goals? Second one is, have I spent more than I wanted to during the first half of the year? And the final one is, what can I keep doing or stop doing to end the year feeling good about my spending habits? This kind of mid-year review will help you catch issues early and hopefully spend a little time celebrating what is working. So I'm pretty sure you are convinced that summer being the midway point is a great time to reflect on your spending, but I have a few more reasons why summer is just the perfect time. So the next one is, you're probably spending more or you're spending differently in the summer. Okay. Here's the thing. Summer is usually full of temptation, and it always seems to come with its own unique set of spending challenges. Typically in the summer, you've got vacations, road trips, pool days, beach days, brunches, weddings, bridal showers, more dining out because let's face it, we all want to be out in the summertime. The sun is shining. It's a beautiful time of the year. And if you have kids, them being home all day or them needing summer camp or daycare, they need to be entertained, they need to be fed, and that is one more thing for you to spend your money on in the summer. So, with all of that being said, it really shouldn't come as a surprise to see your spending and your expenses and maybe even some of your bills spike in the summer. But don't let that trick you though, okay? It may not feel like a big deal in the moment because we all love summertime. We all love the summer vibes. We get these rose-colored glasses and everything's great and amazing in the summer, but summer can wreck your budget if you're not careful, okay? So that is another reason why summer is literally the perfect time to evaluate and assess your spending. It's a great time to reflect because you can clearly see how your money is flowing differently this season. You can clearly see how your money is being spent in the summer and how that differs from the other seasons. So take some time to ask yourself, like, what did I spend money on this summer or in preparation for this summer that I didn't plan for in January? Okay, I think this exercise will really give you some insight that you can use in future years to make sure that you are actually taken care of during the summer months. So ask yourself again, what did I spend my money on this summer or in preparation for this summer that I didn't plan for in January? And whatever that answer is, it may actually surprise you, and that's okay. The goal is not to judge yourself, right? The goal is to become aware and make changes and do better in the second half of the year. My final reason why summer is like the perfect time of year to reevaluate your spending habits is because summer just brings this natural energy for change. I mean, let's be real. Even if we can't enjoy summer like we did in grade school, and I wish we could, but we all can't, or we can't fully, summer is still energizing, right? No matter how old you are. Like I said, summer just brings the good vibes. Even if it's hot as heck outside, and trust me, Texas usually is, there's just something about the longer days, the brighter skies, and just that sense of freedom that really makes us want to refresh and revamp and come out all brand new. So just like we do spring cleaning, summer can be a great refresh for your money. And like I said, summer is energizing. People tend to feel more motivated and open during the summer months. So tap into that energy, right? Like, let's soak up all the sun rays, get all the energy we can so that we can actually make some financial progress. Like, the goal is to reset, not retreat financially. Okay, so I think I've convinced you that summer is the perfect time to reevaluate your spending habits, reflect on what's working, what's not working. So let's talk about how to actually reevaluate your spending habits, okay? So I'm going to walk you through step by step how to do this. Are you loving this episode so far? Well, the money and life level up conversations never end in the City Girl Savings community. Visit citygirlsavings.com for instant access to resources that help you budget, level up your money mindset, and so much more. And make sure you stay up to date with CGS by following us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, all at City Girl Savings. All right, let's get into it. So the first step you're going to take is review your spending from the last 3 months. Okay, so if you have a budget and spend tracking system, this should be a breeze. This step should not be hard. If you don't have a budget, if you don't track your spending, if you don't know where to start, I really want you to consider my one-on-one budget coaching program, because in that program, my clients and I, we create a budget plan, but we also have an expense tracking system to make sure they're spending their money in conjunction with the budget. And if not, we're able to easily see it. I'll link to my coaching program in the show notes, but that's not the point here. The point is to review your spending from the last 3 months. And if you, again, don't have a budget or tracking system, I'm just going to walk you through a few quick steps. Okay. So what you would do is pull out your bank and credit card statements from April, May, and June, or whatever the last 3 months are when you're listening to this episode. And you're going to go through those statements and you're going to categorize your spending. Okay. So identify your spending on needs, identify your spending on wants, identify any emotional splurges, recurring charges, etc. Okay, so we want to categorize your spending. And then we want to look for patterns. Are you overspending on food? Are you shopping in preparation for a new season? Are there subscriptions that you don't even use that you can cancel? So we want to review your spending from the last 3 months and kind of pinpoint what's really happening with it. Now, once you've done that, once you kind of know where you've been spending your money the last 3 months, you can move into step 2, which is to compare your spending to your goals. So hopefully you set some financial goals or intentions at the beginning of the year. To complete this step, we want to revisit those goals and intentions. Okay. What did you set out to do or accomplish this year? And once you know those things, you can ask yourself, are you on track? Are you falling behind? Have your priorities shifted? So maybe your goal was to save $5,000 and you've only saved $1,000 now that we're halfway through the year. What needs to change for you to reach the goal? Maybe it's not realistic to save $5,000. So maybe the goal needs to be adjusted to save $2,500, right? So spend some time really assessing your goals and then comparing your spending to those goals to identify if you're on track or not. The next step is to identify leak areas. Okay, so leak areas are those categories that are constantly over budget, right? The categories that it's so easy for you to overspend or overindulge, right? And then you feel out of alignment. So for most people, that includes like food delivery, Uber Eats, DoorDash. It includes Amazon purchases and charges, Target runs, travel. Okay, so identify your leak areas and ask yourself, is this spending, are these leaks where I'm overspending, are they adding value? Are they helping me reach my goals? Are they worth it? Or is it a habit I need to adjust, right? Now that I know the leak area, is it really doing more harm than it should? And if the answer is yes, all right, you got to be disciplined. The next step is to set one new financial boundary. So as you are reevaluating your spending habits, you're reviewing your spending from the last 3 months, you're comparing that spending to your goals, you're identifying the leak areas, I want you to set one new financial boundary based on what you've learned. Okay. So whatever you've discovered, create a new summer money rule for yourself. So maybe your rule or financial boundary is only one takeout meal a week, or no buying clothes unless it's for a very specific event, or instead of going to your go-to activities, research one free community or weekend activity each week to participate in. So set a new summer money rule that you will stick to moving forward. Step 5 is to update your budget, or if you don't have a budget, actually create one for the summer. So We already know summer is the perfect time to reevaluate your spending habits, but it's also the perfect time to tweak your budget with fresh data, right? Because now we have the second half of the year that we need to get through. So for summer specifically, add in any new categories to your budget. So things like travel or events that apply, and remove anything that no longer applies. So some of my East Coast clients, they pay for gas and oil, right? But they only do so in the colder months. So if that's a line item in your budget, go ahead and remove it for the summer season or moving into the second half of the year. The goal is to learn from everything that you've assessed up until this point and make changes to your budget based on what you've learned. And then finally, make this process, make the act of reevaluating your spending fun and rewarding. Okay. Like this is not punishment. This is not homework that you're forced to do, right? Make this a fun and rewarding process because the results can be worth it. Set like a mini summer savings goal to save $300 by the end of August for a little weekend getaway, right? Like think of things that can make this process fun and work towards those things so you can treat yourself. And as you do so, use visuals, use trackers, gamify your progress to stay engaged, get some coloring worksheets, like do whatever you need to do to stay encouraged, inspired, and motivated to work towards your goals. And I already mentioned the summer savings challenge, but that can be a great way to make being financially responsible in the summer fun. So join that challenge and just see how it goes. Okay, so there you have it. Why summer is the perfect time to reevaluate your spending and your financial decisions. And just know this, reevaluating your money mid-year does not mean you failed. If you have to adjust your goals, if you have to make changes, it doesn't mean you failed. It just means you're being intentional, okay? Just like you would check your GPS or your maps halfway through a trip, you can check your budget and reset as needed. And in fact, you should. Don't wait until January 1st to start over. Make your adjustments now so that you set yourself up to finish strong. Good luck. You got this. Thank you so much for letting me be the money coach in your ear today. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the City Girl Savings Podcast and you feel empowered and motivated to take the next step in the journey to your dream life. Remember, if someone like me, a millennial who loves to travel, new experiences, and iced coffees can live a life they love on a budget, you can too.